If you want to be an elite, unstoppable force at the top of your game, you want to learn how to think like the enemy. In every decision, consider what would your enemy want you to do? On your personal journey to self-mastery, as you're in your business, you're working towards your goals. And this is good as well if you're actually going through really tough challenges that you find it hard to overcome. How would your worst enemy try and bring you down in that moment? If you can adopt this mindset, if you can get into this way of thinking, you're going to raise your level of awareness through the polarity to be so polished as a character. Think of the tactics that an enemy would use: confusion, chaos, isolation, doubt. You want to know how your enemy would think. And see, in those moments where you feel challenged, ask yourself, what is the challenge that you're actually facing in that moment? Is it doubt? Because if you're doubting yourself at any moment, just know that that is coming from an invisible adversary, okay? It will help you overcome that challenge so much easier because you're able to then play life like a game. And if you think about an opposing force against you, whether or not you believe in God or the devil, or if you believe in science, whatever it is that you believe in, you can still adopt this framework. When you think about how the enemy would defeat you in any given circumstance, spot it and actually label it in your mind as tactic of the enemy. And it will help you overcome it. It'll help you disregard it. Your power comes from ignoring the thoughts that don't serve you. It can be really tough to do that. So I'm not saying that lightly. The thoughts that you are emotionally invested in are creating your reality. And where attention goes, energy flows, and it'll reproduce itself in your results. So as you learn to master yourself, learn to take the power away from the things that do not serve you. There is no such thing as darkness. There is only the absence of light. If you turn the light switch on, the room illuminates. But you can't turn the dark switch on. You turn off the lights. Okay? The lights are your internal power. Your soul is so powerful. You go out into nature, go for a long drive, sit in your room and cancel off all the distractions. Just sit with yourself and think, right, what tactic is my enemy using on me right now? Do you feel alone? Is it crippling you? Because a lot of entrepreneurs feel lonely. I hear it all the time. It's not true, but people feel it, okay? So take the power away from that illusion because you're not alone. You're listening to a video right now of a girl you don't know speaking. I'm with you right now in whatever room you're in. Not physically, but you're connected to people at all moments, all the time, okay? So don't let isolation make you feel abandoned, okay? That is a big one. Do you feel incapable? What is the root cause of feeling like you're not able? It's doubt. It's self-worth, okay? But you know that you're the creator of your reality. So lean on what you do know instead of leaning on your doubts. And my mum taught me this as a kid whenever I couldn't sleep, and she'd be like, Rachel, you always know what you need to know to get to the next step. In this circumstance, she said that if I was afraid, that all I had to do was go next door into her bedroom. So I used to do that. I would have cold sweats lying in my bed, listening, convincing myself that there were noises coming from outside. I would look out my bedroom window and I would see shadows from trees on the path, and I was convinced that it was a person, that there was someone lurking in the shadows, watching the house, waiting for all the lights to go off so that they could come and break in. Okay? That kind of fear in a child is crippling, but we're no different as adults. We convince ourselves of these fears. So what do? You turn on the lights, okay? My mum walked me outside one night to the shadow where I thought a man was hiding, and we stood on the path and I could see that there was no man there. she shed a bit of light on that circumstance. Okay, now I was still terrified doing it. Don't make any mistake. But as I grew older, as I continued to remember and practice turning on the lights, you come to see that there's really nothing to be scared of at all. As you move towards the things you're afraid of, and I forgot about that for a really long time until I heard Zidane talking about it, and I was like, I forgot. Turn the lights on. Chase your fears. Like, if you're afraid of something, think to yourself, what tactic is the enemy using on me right now? Because you can have these mental hallucinations of thought all the time. You might think, oh no, I can't go speak to that person because they don't want to talk to me or they don't blah, blah, blah. Like, you can have all these crazy assumptions that are holding you back. But to what end? You created that thought. So you can create a different thought that's more powerful, that cancels out the one that isn't serving you. Okay? Know that. Keep that card in your arsenal. Never forget that you are the one with the power in every moment. So you want to think how the enemy is going to move. If you can identify what the best, and you need it, like, actually brainstorm this as the observer of your own life. Look at what you're trying to achieve. Okay? Look at who you're becoming and look at what the potential obstacles are, okay? And look at what the opportunities are and think, okay, if I had to try and make this person fail, how would I do it? Now, some people might think that this is a really scary, manipulative thing to be able to do. But see, when you are trained not only in your own light, but if you know your own shadow, the polarity of that gives you a whole. When you understand the art of war, you will know and you will feel a sense of calm within. And you'll realize that you're actually not necessarily at war with yourself. You're just greeting yourself. You're acknowledging all these different thoughts. Thoughts only have as much power as we give them, okay? So acknowledge them, shake hands with them, and part ways with the ones that don't serve you. Jordan Peterson actually said something about this, and he was talking about masculinity. And he said, you're something along the lines of, you're not a dangerous person if you don't have the strength to fight, something like that. Like, you can't claim to be brave if you're never in a position where bravery is required. Okay? When you know both sides of yourself, you then have the capacity to make a choice. And if you are anchored in the outcome of your goal, you know the version of you that you need to be. Therefore, you know what to avoid. And not only do you know what to avoid, but you know what to spot in other people. You train yourself in how to think like the enemy, so that when these moments of conflict arrive in your internal world and you don't know where to turn, you think to yourself, right, well, if I had to take me out, how would I do it? You're going to actively make the decision, by the way, to not do this to other people, because you're a good person who has a purpose and wants to create a reality of a life worth living. You don't have time to ruin other people's lives, okay? You're on a mission. You have a duty and a moral obligation to fulfill the ideas that God has given you. So get to know yourself. Don't spend too much time in your shadow, okay? Because you don't want to give it that much energy, but you do want to be aware of it, okay? That's really important. You need to be aware of your entire mental bandwidth so that when you make a decision, it actually is a strong one because you knew you had options. The definition of your character is in the choices that you make. And that strength of character, it's unmistakable, okay? When you meet a person who has the capacity to make any kind of a choice and they choose the choice of strength, that's a contagious energy. People might not be able to identify it, but they feel it, okay? And your impact leaves an imprint on people. That is how you learn to lead. If you can lead your own life, then you can help others lead theirs.